For years, millions of Americans have followed the deeply personal, sometimes heartbreaking, and often inspiring journey of two Kentucky sisters whose lives changed forever after stepping into the national spotlight. The show became one of the most talked about reality series on television, documenting weight struggles, family tension, health scares, and emotional victories in a way that resonated with viewers across the country. But now, in 2026, a new question has taken over social media, entertainment blogs, and fan forums everywhere. Has 1,000-Pound Sisters been canceled? The rumors have spread quickly. Some fans claim the show quietly ended after its latest season. Others believe production is simply paused while major life changes unfold behind the scenes. And then there are those who think something much bigger is happening, something the network hasn't publicly explained yet. At the center of it all are two women whose lives have been transformed in front of cameras, Amy Slaton and Tammy Slaton. Their story began as a reality television experiment but evolved into something far more complicated. A national conversation about obesity, family dynamics, resilience, and personal transformation. Over multiple seasons, viewers watched dramatic weight loss attempts, emotional setbacks, medical interventions, and moments of genuine triumph. Some episodes showed hope and progress. Others captured painful struggles that reminded audiences just how difficult long-term health changes can be. And yet, despite the intense popularity of the show, speculation is now swirling that the series may not continue into another season. Fans are asking whether the network has quietly pulled the plug, or whether the future of the series depends on the next chapter in the Slaton sisters' lives. So what's really happening behind the scenes? Has 1,000-Pound Sisters truly been canceled in 2026? Or is the truth far more complicated than the rumors suggest? Tonight, we're taking a deep, investigative look into the story behind the speculation. We'll examine the history of the show, the challenges the sisters have faced both on and off camera, what sources say about production plans, and why the future of this beloved reality series may still be uncertain. Because when it comes to 1,000-Pound Sisters, the real story is often far more emotional and far more revealing than the headlines suggest. Background and context. To understand why cancellation rumors are spreading in 2026, it's important to look back at how 1,000-Pound Sisters became such a cultural phenomenon in the first place. When the series first premiered on the cable network TLC in January 2020, it introduced viewers to Amy and Tammy Slaton, sisters from rural Kentucky who had already built a modest online following through YouTube videos. Their candid personalities, humor, and willingness to talk openly about their lives attracted thousands of viewers online, even before television producers became interested. But the television version of their story took things much further. The premise of 1,000-Pound Sisters was straightforward yet emotionally powerful. The show followed Amy and Tammy as they attempted to lose a combined total weight of over 1,000 pounds while working toward healthier lives. For Amy, the goal was especially personal. She wanted to qualify for weight loss surgery so she could eventually become a mother. The first season quickly captured attention across America. Unlike many reality shows that focus on glamour or competition, 1,000-Pound Sisters offered something different. An unfiltered look at the realities of extreme obesity and the complicated emotional dynamics within families. Viewers saw the sisters support each other one moment and argue intensely the next. Their relationship, often filled with humor and brutal honesty, became one of the defining elements of the show. During early seasons, Amy successfully underwent bariatric surgery and began losing weight, eventually achieving her dream of starting a family. Her journey resonated deeply with viewers who saw her determination and emotional vulnerability as relatable and inspiring. Tammy's story, however, proved more complicated. Throughout multiple seasons, Tammy faced serious health challenges, including hospitalizations and struggles with maintaining weight loss plans. At times, her setbacks became some of the most emotionally difficult moments in the series. Yet those same struggles also kept audiences invested. Fans watched not simply for entertainment, but because they wanted to see whether Tammy would eventually overcome the obstacles that had defined so much of her life. The show's success also highlighted a broader trend in American television. Networks like TLC have built an entire programming strategy around real-life transformation stories. Other popular programs on the network, including My 600 Pounds Life and 90 Day Fiancé, demonstrated that viewers are drawn to deeply personal narratives that mix emotional struggle with moments of hope. In that sense, 1,000 Pounds Sisters fit perfectly into the network's identity. But it also stood apart because of the unique chemistry between Amy and Tammy. Their relationship was unpredictable, emotional, and often painfully honest. And that authenticity is exactly what kept millions of viewers tuning in. The rise of a reality TV phenomenon. Over the next several years, the show evolved from a modest reality experiment into one of TLC's most recognizable series. Season after season, audiences witnessed dramatic life changes. Amy's storyline expanded as she navigated motherhood and family responsibilities. Tammy's journey took viewers through rehabilitation centers, health scares, and ultimately a renewed commitment to improving her health. One of the most pivotal moments in the series occurred when Tammy entered a long-term rehabilitation program to focus on her weight and overall well-being. Reports indicated that the experience became a turning point for her health journey. Eventually, Tammy achieved a milestone many fans had been hoping to see. She qualified for weight loss surgery. The moment represented not only a medical breakthrough, but also an emotional victory after years of setbacks. For longtime viewers, it felt like a turning point that validated their continued support for the show. But reality television is rarely predictable. And as the sisters' lives changed, so did the direction of the series itself. Breaking details. Where things stand in 2026. So what is actually happening with 1,000 Pounds Sisters right now? As of early 2026, no official announcement has confirmed that the series has been permanently canceled. However, the lack of a clear renewal announcement has sparked widespread speculation. Entertainment reporting often relies on production signals rather than formal statements. When filming schedules shift or seasons are delayed, rumors about cancellations frequently begin circulating online. Several factors appear to be contributing to the uncertainty surrounding the show's future. First, reality programs often take longer breaks between seasons when cast members are experiencing major life transitions. In the case of the Slaton family, both sisters have undergone significant personal changes in recent years. Second, production timelines can be influenced by health considerations, family circumstances, or logistical planning. Because 1,000 Pounds Sisters relies heavily on real-life events rather than scripted storylines, filming must often adapt to the pace of the sisters' lives. Sources close to reality television production have frequently explained that these types of shows may take extended pauses while producers determine the direction of future seasons. For fans, though, the silence can feel unsettling. Without a confirmed premiere date for a new season, speculation fills the gap. Social media users begin analyzing every Instagram post, every interview comment, and every rumor from entertainment blogs. And that is exactly what has happened in 2026. Expert analysis. The business side of reality television. To fully understand the situation, it helps to examine the broader business realities of reality TV production. Shows like 1,000 Pounds Sisters operate within a complicated ecosystem involving ratings performance, production costs, advertising revenue, and long-term audience engagement. If a series consistently draws strong viewership numbers, networks are often motivated to continue producing new seasons. However, even successful shows may pause production if storylines need time to evolve. Television analysts often point out that unscripted programs rely heavily on real-life developments. When cast members experience significant life changes, producers may intentionally delay filming to capture those moments authentically. Another important factor is audience interest. Reality shows thrive when viewers remain emotionally invested in the people on screen. The Slaton sisters' journey has kept audiences engaged for years because their story continues to evolve. But as the narrative changes from weight loss goals to family life to long-term health maintenance, producers must decide how the show's next chapter should unfold. Social media explosion. Meanwhile, online conversation around the show has exploded. Across platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, fans are debating what the silence from the network might mean. Some viewers believe the show's story has reached a natural conclusion. Others argue that the sisters' continuing health journeys make future seasons even more important. In fan communities, discussions often revolve around one central question: should the show continue? Supporters say the series has helped raise awareness about obesity and health struggles while showing the importance of family support. Critics, however, sometimes question whether reality television is the best format for documenting such personal challenges. The divided opinions illustrate how culturally significant the show has become. What this means for the future. Looking ahead, several possibilities exist for the future of 1,000-Pound Sisters. The show could return for another season after a production pause. Networks frequently delay renewal announcements until filming schedules are finalized. Another possibility is that the series could evolve into a different format, perhaps focusing on broader family dynamics or long-term lifestyle changes. And, of course, there is the possibility, though not confirmed, that the network may eventually decide the story has reached its natural end. Until an official announcement is made, the future remains uncertain. The human story behind the headlines. Beyond the television ratings and industry speculation, it's important to remember that the heart of 1,000-Pound Sisters has always been the personal journeys of Amy and Tammy Slaton. Their story resonated with viewers because it reflected real human struggles, health challenges, family bonds, moments of hope, and the long road toward personal change. For many fans, the show was never just entertainment. It was a reminder that transformation, whether physical, emotional, or personal, is rarely easy. And that may be why audiences remain so invested in what happens next. Call to action. What do you think? Do you believe 1,000-Pound Sisters should return for another season? Or do you think the story has reached its natural conclusion? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Conversations like these are what make communities around shows like this so powerful. If you found this deep dive helpful and want more investigative breakdowns of trending TV stories, be sure to like the video and subscribe for future updates. Because as soon as new information about the future of 1,000-Pound Sisters emerges, we'll be here to break it down. And sometimes, the truth behind the rumors is more surprising than anyone expected. Deeper background. How 1,000-LB Sisters became a cultural talking point in America. When reality television historians eventually look back at the early 2020s, many will likely point to 1,000-Pound Sisters as one of the most unexpected cultural phenomena of the decade. What began as a modest, unscripted series on TLC quickly evolved into something much bigger than a simple reality program. It became a deeply personal, often emotional, long-form portrait of family, health struggles, resilience, and the complicated road toward personal transformation. At the center of that story were two women whose lives had rarely followed traditional paths, Amy Slaton and Tammy Slaton. Raised in rural Kentucky, the sisters grew up in a working-class environment where financial limitations, health challenges, and family responsibilities shaped much of their early lives. Long before television cameras entered the picture, both sisters had already experienced years of difficulty related to their weight, mobility, and overall health. What made their story compelling was not simply the scale of their physical struggles, but the raw honesty with which they talked about them. On their YouTube channel, which existed before the television series, the sisters openly discussed food habits, medical frustrations, relationships, and the daily challenges of living with extreme obesity. Their humor, sarcasm, and unfiltered personalities helped them build a loyal online following. Television producers eventually took notice. Reality television networks had already discovered that audiences were deeply interested in transformation stories. Shows like My 600 Pounds Life demonstrated that viewers were willing to watch deeply emotional journeys involving health crises and lifestyle change. But the Slaton sisters brought something unique: their relationship. Their dynamic was unpredictable, sometimes hilarious, sometimes painfully honest, and occasionally explosive. They supported each other, argued with each other, and relied on each other in ways that felt unmistakably real. When 1,000 Pounds Sisters premiered in January 2020, audiences immediately sensed that authenticity. Unlike highly produced reality shows that rely heavily on competition or scripted drama, this series allowed the sisters' everyday lives to unfold naturally. Viewers saw medical appointments, family gatherings, emotional breakdowns, and rare moments of triumph. Those moments created an emotional bond between the audience and the sisters. Over time, millions of Americans felt as though they were watching not just a television show, but a real family navigating real struggles. The early seasons, hope, struggle, and the first major breakthrough. During the earliest seasons of the show, Amy's storyline quickly became one of the most hopeful elements of the series. Her goal was clear from the beginning. She wanted to qualify for bariatric surgery so she could lose weight and eventually start a family. That dream resonated strongly with viewers, particularly because she spoke about it with a mixture of determination and vulnerability. Weight loss surgery, however, requires strict medical requirements. Patients must demonstrate commitment to lifestyle changes, including controlled eating habits and measurable weight loss before surgeons will approve the procedure. For Amy, the process was challenging but achievable. After working with doctors and making dietary changes, she successfully qualified for surgery. When the procedure was completed, it marked one of the first major victories shown on the series. For many viewers, it was an emotional milestone. It also demonstrated something important about the show. While it featured dramatic moments and conflict, it ultimately focused on the possibility of transformation. Soon afterward, Amy reached another major life milestone. She became pregnant and later welcomed her first child. For longtime fans of the show, that moment represented the fulfillment of the very goal she had spoken about since the earliest episodes. But while Amy's journey was progressing forward, Tammy's story remained far more complicated. Tammy's struggles become the emotional center of the series. From the beginning of the show, Tammy Slaton faced greater medical risk than her sister. Her weight was significantly higher, and her health complications were more severe. Over multiple seasons, viewers watched Tammy attempt weight loss programs, attend medical consultations, and confront difficult lifestyle adjustments. But progress did not come easily. Episodes frequently documented setbacks, missed diet goals, emotional stress, and conflicts with family members who were trying to support her. At times, her health deteriorated to the point where emergency medical care became necessary. These moments were some of the most emotionally intense scenes the show ever aired. Reality television critics sometimes debate whether documenting such vulnerable moments is appropriate. But supporters of the series argue that the show provides a rare, honest look at the reality of extreme obesity and the psychological challenges involved in long-term lifestyle change. Tammy's struggles became the emotional core of the series. And for many viewers, the question was not simply whether she would lose weight, but whether she would survive the journey long enough to make meaningful changes. A critical turning point: rehabilitation and medical intervention. One of the most dramatic turning points in the show's history came when Tammy entered a long-term rehabilitation facility focused on weight management and overall health improvement. According to reports at the time, doctors strongly recommended intensive care due to the severity of her medical condition. The rehabilitation program provided a structured environment where nutrition, physical therapy, and medical monitoring could take place under constant supervision. The decision marked a major shift in Tammy's life. Inside the facility, she began working closely with healthcare professionals who helped guide her toward sustainable lifestyle changes. The environment removed many of the distractions and habits that had previously made weight loss difficult. Gradually, progress became visible. For viewers who had followed her journey for years, the changes were remarkable. Reports indicated that she began losing a significant amount of weight during her time in rehabilitation. Eventually, that progress led to a milestone fans had hoped for since the show's earliest episodes. She qualified for bariatric surgery. When that moment arrived, it was treated as a major event not only for the show but also for the viewers who had invested years in her story. It was proof that transformation, even after years of struggle, was still possible. Ratings success and the business of reality TV. Behind the emotional storytelling, however, there was also a business reality. Reality television operates within the competitive world of ratings and advertising revenue. Networks rely on audience numbers to determine whether a show should continue. For several seasons, 1,000 Sisters delivered strong viewership for TLC. The show attracted a mix of audiences: fans of transformation stories, viewers interested in family-centered reality programming, and people simply curious about the sisters' unusual personalities. Ratings success often leads to multiple season renewals, and the show continued expanding its narrative over time. But reality television also faces a unique challenge: the story must evolve. Unlike scripted shows where writers can create new plotlines indefinitely, unscripted series depend on the real lives of their participants. If those lives change dramatically, or if the core storyline reaches a natural conclusion, producers must decide whether there is still enough material to justify another season. That challenge is now at the center of the cancellation rumors circulating in 2026. Why cancellation rumors started? The speculation surrounding the future of 1,000 Sisters did not emerge overnight. Instead, it grew slowly over time as fans noticed certain patterns common in the television industry. One of the biggest triggers for cancellation rumors is silence. When a network does not immediately announce a new season after the previous one ends, viewers often assume the worst. But that silence does not always mean cancellation. Reality television production schedules can be unpredictable. Filming often depends on the availability and circumstances of the cast. In a show like 1,000 Sisters, which documents real-life health journeys, producers may intentionally delay filming until significant developments occur. Another factor is the changing direction of the sisters' lives. Amy is now focused heavily on raising her children and managing family responsibilities. Tammy, meanwhile, has entered a new stage of her health journey following surgery and significant weight loss. These changes could mean that producers are reevaluating how the show should continue. Should it remain focused on weight loss? Should it shift toward family life? Or has the central storyline reached its conclusion? Those are questions only the network and production team can answer. Media coverage and growing speculation. Entertainment websites, pop culture commentators, and YouTube creators have all begun analyzing the situation. Without official confirmation from TLC, many reports rely on indirect signals, interviews, social media posts, or industry rumors. Some articles suggest the show could be on hiatus rather than canceled. Others speculate that the network may be exploring spin-off possibilities or a rebranded format. It's important to emphasize that no verified announcement has confirmed the permanent cancellation of the show. But in the age of viral headlines, speculation often spreads faster than confirmed information. The power of fan investment. Perhaps the most fascinating aspect of the cancellation rumors is how strongly fans are reacting. Across online communities, viewers are debating the future of the show with remarkable intensity. For many fans, the series feels personal. They have spent years watching Amy and Tammy grow, struggle, succeed, and change. That emotional investment is exactly what makes reality television powerful. When viewers feel connected to the people on screen, they care deeply about what happens next. And that emotional connection may ultimately influence whether the show continues, building tension for what comes next. As the speculation grows, one question remains at the center of the conversation. If 1,000 Sisters does return, what will the next chapter look like? Will it focus on Tammy's long-term health transformation? Will it explore Amy's evolving role as a mother? Or will the series shift toward a broader family narrative involving siblings, relationships, and everyday life in Kentucky? The truth is, no one outside the production team knows for certain. But one thing is clear: the story of the Slaton sisters is far from ordinary. And sometimes, the most surprising twists in reality television happen when viewers least expect them.